Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, mates. This is Carey Means, the voice of Frylock from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and you're hanging out with Galaxy on Comic Con Radio Show. Peace, love, and progress, y'all.
What you saying here?
I'm keeping his head alive with electrical impulses, and the computer is able to translate his brain output into text.
Really? Or is that an F? He's dropping F-bombs over here.
Don't look over here, Meatwad. These are just words you don't need to learn.
I'm gonna start dropping F-bombs. Listen to this. Fart you, fart here.
That's not how F-bombs are dropped, you idiot.
Oh, come on, Shake.
Oh, the fart it is, farter. Fart all y'all. Y'all go fart yourself.
Hey, Chief, where do you want this?
You drove that thing through town.
It's cool. I stayed on the shoulder the whole way.
Well, at least bring it through the back, damn.
Yeah, you heard him. Bring it through the fart and back.
Damn it, Shake.
You said the back. What is this, the front now?
All the nerves are connected. I think we're ready. Carl, can you hear me?
What happened there?
What? Well, we don't know. We're just glad you're all right. I mean, you don't remember what happened, do you?
I remember some things. I'm just not too clear on being so old and black. Why am I black? And where did I get this suit? It's ridiculous.
This is not a time for you to be picky, Carl. That's all you can get when you go to the West End.
Get it off, rip it off! What am I doing? Oh, God! Oh, no. The body's rejecting the head.
Oh, you think? Get it off me!
Hang on.
So did it work?
Of course it worked.
No, it didn't.
Of course it worked. Not at all. Which is what I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted.
Take this body back, and not through town.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go. Good afternoon and good evening. This is Galaxy for another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Today we have a cool guest. He is not that mean. I don't think so. But let's see what's going on with the show today. Today we have the cool Carey Means on Comic-Con Radio. Carey, what's up, brother? Welcome.
What up, Galaxy? How you doing?
Pretty good. So today is Friday. What a wonderful day. You're on the show. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. What's up with you? How's life so far? What's going on today?
How's the weather in Cali right now? What's the temperature like where you're at?
The weather is amazing.
Out there.
Temperatures are up. California is such a weird place because you could be in one city, it could be like 60, and you drive an hour away, you could be like 75. So it's just different. But we're right now.
What's the temperature? I'm in Atlanta, man. I'm in Atlanta. It's 45 degrees, and we just got a bunch of rain.
Wow.
So this is the first sunny day we've had in like a week and a half. It felt like I lived in Seattle. Staying kind of on the subject of weather and Seattle. There was a season where the show that I used to work on, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, as some of you may or may not know, I was the voice of Frylock on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I was also the voice of Thundercleese on the Brak Show and Jonah Bishop on another little-known show called Welcome to the Wayne. Some of y'all may have heard of that. Some of you may not. But anyway, from what I understand, by watching this thing they had on YouTube, this 107 facts about whatever. So they had 107 facts about Aqua Teen. I was fact number 90, by the way. Just kind of throwing that out there because the way they said it, they kind of threw it away anyway. Carey Means voice of Frylock. That's how they did it. But anyway, apparently the Aqua Teens lived in Seattle for a season. I guess that was a season where Carl was trying to sell their house. I don't know. I'm probably getting off topic, if there is a topic right now. Galaxy.
Hey,
did you hang up on me? I thought you hung up on me. I was like, damn, this is the shortest podcast I ever had in my life.
No.
The boy hung up on me. Honey.
I am very respectful when someone speaks. I let them finish because...
Oh, you were just quiet.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we got disconnected or something. You know how these things can go, man.
No. If you listen to my show, I let everyone speak, and then
I was just talking. I'm like, this is either going really well or really badly because there's silence.
It's going well. You're doing good.
It's like you stand up to tell a couple of jokes in front of an audience, and you tell your jokes, and it's like crickets. You don't hear nothing. You go, okay, moving on. Actually, never officially done stand-up, but I've been dared to do it by someone very famous. I will say his name, Timok from Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. The star of Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon asked me, at a dinner one time. He said, Carey, you ever do stand up? I was like, no. He's like, you're a pussy. That's what he said. One time I called you a pussy for not doing stand up. What do you do?
Well,
what would you do?
Stand up and wear the Frylock costume on stage.
Now you're trying to get me sued by the people that own the character, aren't you?
Well, hey. You know what? Change one of the French fries.
Oh, change some 10%. It belongs to you. You know about the poor man's copyright, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I'll take the mustache off the goatee and see how that makes a difference, right?
Yeah. Just give him
mustache.
No goatee.
Whenever I do cons, I try to implement my own personal panel. In fact, I'm going to be at a con in North DeKalb Mall here in a couple of weeks, March 14th to 15th in North DeKalb Mall. It's some type of sci-fi convention. If any of your listeners are out in the Atlanta way, come check it out. I'm going to be doing Carey or Frylock's Square Roundtable panel discussions about various things involving the universe. Not you personally, Galaxy, but sometimes things that go off in different galaxies.
Doesn't it sound cool that you're in my universe? And
it is cool. It sounds cool. It is cool. Hey, have you ever talked to the Cup? Dana Snyder? You talked to Dana Snyder before on this thing? You know he lives out there where you do.
Oh, really?
Dana Snyder lives out in L.A. Yeah, shout out to Dana. What's up, Cup?
You have a lot of...
The biggest a-hole
Did you have
in Aqua Teen is Dana Snyder. He's an a-hole. Dana Snyder's an a-hole, and so is Shake. And tell him Carey Frylock said it. No, man, no. Have you ever listened to a podcast that I've ever done? Have you ever listened to or seen any of the things that are floating around the social media webs or Google or whatever it is you kids do today? Have you ever seen or heard a Frylock podcast where I was asked a bunch of questions, whether they be sensical or nonsensical? Have you, Galaxy?
Well, of course, I've heard you lots of places. I've seen you live, and...
You've seen me live at an event. What was it?
Of course. I don't know if it was L.A. Comic-Con or if it was... I don't think it was San Diego. Have you been to San Diego Comic-Con?
Once.
Okay.
When Aqua Teen was in full swing, it was 2006. That was the very first con I've ever been to in my life.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a hell of an experience. And the first time I met Lou Ferrigno was there.
How was that?
At that particular con. It was crazy, man, because I don't know if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con or know anybody that's been a guest. I use the term guest loosely because nowadays you got professional handlers. You got people that fly in to handle you. That doesn't sound right, I know, but you got people who fly in and do professional handling for people like me that are guests at cons. Back then in 2006, guess what? They didn't have no handler for old Frylock back then. And keep in mind, I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing about cons, period. And I'm running around the biggest con in the nation with outdated information. For God's sakes, I almost missed the booze cruise, man, but that's another story. Luckily, I did make it onto that boat. But it was a specific cruise involving booze that was free and free grub for Adult Swim. So you got people like Seth MacFarlane. No, it's MacFarlane, not Seth MacFarlane. Seth Green. Seth Green was on the boat. The more oral guys were on the boat. Us Aqua Teen folks were on the boat, but I almost missed the boat because I didn't have anybody to go, hey, Mr. Means, I'm here to escort you to this boat. You know how they do nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
You have a handler that takes care of you to make sure you get to your panels on time. I didn't have anyone like that. We had an itinerary, and most of the stuff was out of date. So I'm running around the con trying to find the Adult Swim panel. Keep in mind, I've never done con in my life. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. And there's Lou Ferrigno sitting in the corner doing his Hulk thing, signing autographs. And he ain't had a line or nothing. Not that he never has lines. He does. He's the Hulk. But this particular moment, it was early in the morning, before most folks got to the venues or whatever. I'm looking for my panel. I was like, hey, Mr. Ferrigno, how you doing? It's Carey Means. I'm the voice of Frylock. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You probably never heard of me. I got to go. I'm late for an Adult Swim panel. Bye. He probably looked up like, what the hell was that? So, you know what I'm saying?
What is he taking? Can I have some?
What was that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, then I reminded him that we met in that manner at a con that Dana and I did together in Denver a couple of years back. He was a guest there. We actually had lunch. We literally sat right next to each other And I'm like, hey, Mr. Ferrigno, you might not remember me, but it was a kind of a blur when I met you in 2006 at San Diego Comic-Con, blah, 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 blah. And he looks up and he goes, the important thing is you remember. I was like, okay. So that was the second encounter with Lou the Hulk Ferrigno.
He was like, you should remember
Oh,
me.
there's
I
more.
remember you.
It's like, the important thing is you remember. I was like, oh, okay. I remember one thing, though. I'm a big fan of the...
not remember you.
Right, exactly. The important thing is you remember what happens. I don't have to remember. But anyway, one thing I do remember about Mr. Ferrigno, he's not a fan of the swapperoni. You know, I like to swap with other celebritos, whether they be on my level or above or below. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a fan of someone or something that we're in the same room, I figure we're at least on somewhat the same level, right? So I go up to Lou at the end of Denver Comic Con. I was like, hey, how about a swap there, Hope? You know, I didn't call him Hope, but you know, I'm sure people call him Hope all the time. But anyway, I was like, so, you know, I'll give you one of mine, you give me one of yours. I don't swap. And he looked me dead in my face and said, I don't swap. And it was a very awkward moment because I drove a Mack truck through the silence. And I was like, okay, what do you say when the Hulk tells you he don't swap? I guess the selfie's out of the question. So I walked away and bid him adieu. But Weird Al, on the other hand, Weird Al's cool in the fan, man. He's all about the swap, and he even heard of Frylock. I walked up to him. I was like, hey, Weird Al, how you doing? You know, I recognized him from the back because of the hair. And I was like, yeah, I'm Carey Means. I'm the voice of Frylock, Michael Dale. He's like, I heard of Frylock. I was like, yeah, how you to me? Weird Al Yankovic, how you to me? It's great. So he was all hyped, you know. He was like, hey, let's get a selfie, man. Take a picture on your phone, on mine, and go around the corner and pick something from a table.
How did it feel meeting
He
you?
didn't have this. It was great. Like I said, I geek out when I meet people like that. You know what I'm saying? And if I get a chance, sometimes I don't get a chance to talk to them. But, like, I see you, I'm not just going to let you walk past me if I recognize you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done cons with all kinds of people.
And
I
you get when you meet people that you like. If
yeah,
like this
yeah.
with you, how would you feel?
Oh, man, it's surreal to me because I'm sitting behind a table and I have people coming to me to shake my hand. And they're shaking, literally, like leaf on a tree. They're just shaking. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just a regular dude. No need to get all nervous. You know what I'm saying? I'll just say, calm down. If you prick me, I shall bleed. I'm a regular human being. There's nothing fancy about me. But you got some people who should not do cons. I'm not going to say any names, but some people just aren't. Why is that? I don't know, man. There was one actor, I think he was on Sons of Anarchy or something like that. He played a heavy on the show, but, you know, you just assume that's an act. He was at a con. I'm not going to say his name because I don't remember it, but I think he had a scar on his face or something like that. He was a prominent character on Sons of Anarchy. Anyway, so he's doing this con, right? And this 11-year-old girl walks by with her iPhone or whatever and sneaks a picture of him. You know, so he looks up and says, I'm not going to say the words, you effing see. That's what he said. He yelled it out loud, you effing see. Gets up, grabs her phone. 11-year-old girl now, mind you. Grabs her phone, snatches it out of her hand, throws it down on the floor, stomps on it, breaks it. So you wouldn't get a reaction like that from yours truly. I don't care how big I ever get or don't get. You know what I'm saying? There's just no excuse for that type of behavior. I mean, I'm sure the 11-year-old girl didn't buy that phone. You know what I'm saying? There's a parent in the picture somewhere. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And he called her a name and then grabs her phone. Needless to say, he was escorted from the premises of that convention. I wasn't there at the kind he did it at, but you hear things through the
Would you have said something if you saw that
grapevine.
in front of you?
To him? No. Hell no. I wouldn't have said nothing. I might have said something to security. But I don't, nothing needs to be said. He did it in front of everybody.
Yeah, everybody saw
it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been in some cons with some wild stuff that's going on, but I never actually personally witnessed this stuff. But I hear the stuff from, like, the security guys. Security guys come up to me and tell me behind the stage goings-on, back scenes goings-on of these cons, and there's always a story. If you've ever been to a con, I'm sure you have, there's always a story behind the story of any convention that you ever attend, whether it's something some a-hole did to some poor cosplay girl or attempted to do. You know, there's lots of stories like that. You know, some guest gets a little too friendly with some of the volunteers or whatever.
That's why cosplay doesn't mean consent. People need to know that. I always say that it's a very big issue. Doesn't mean because they dress a certain way you're allowed to touch them. You could just do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can. Just because the Harley Quinn is wearing those poom-poom shorts don't mean you can go up and slap her on the posterior. That's not the cue, guys and gals and whoever, whatever. And it definitely ain't cool to snatch an 11-year-old's cell phone out of her hand while she just snuck a little. Now, people do it to me. They sneak pictures. And I just yell out, you know, you're in charge of that. And, you know, they feel bad immediately when I say that. And they go, oh, I'll erase it. I say, no, you ain't got to erase it. You got it now. Go ahead and keep it. But I'm just letting you know that that's $25 usually. You know, I got tater tots to feed back home. I can't just be.
I got a question for you. You know, that's a big thing. Sometimes,
yes.
You know, I get guests that, you know, go to conventions. And I know conventions are big for you. You go to a lot of them. That's a way.
Actually, I love them. I love to go to them. And if anybody out there listening is running one in your area, I'm available. Please contact me through social media. I also have a YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. But anyway, what was the question?
Well, the question is this. A lot of fans, they love to snap photos. And there's some conventions that allow snapshots from like a distance or behind, you know, a railing or something like that. What do you feel about things like that? Do you think that every snapshot, you should get something out of it, or sometimes it's okay? What do you feel about that stuff?
Most cons I go to don't allow that. If it's kind of like an unwritten rule in the con industry. Now, you got some people who are noobs to the whole scenario and don't realize, or at least they feign ignorance, that they don't realize that you can't do that. That's not cool. You got some promoters who like to put signage up, or, you know, you've seen them, and some of them are just got some really, 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 really tight bold security staff that will not put up with that. You know what I'm saying? They will let you know, no, you cannot take photos like that. I tell you, man, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I will bring it up. I did a con in Colorado Springs a couple of years ago with Mr. and Mrs. Dog, the bounty hunter, you know, Dog.
Oh,
Dog
yeah,
and his
absolutely.
late wife, rest in peace. And she wasn't having that, or they weren't having that. I don't know whose idea of the dog camp decided this. Well, she kind of did. She kind of did. But anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So what it was at first they were in what I like to call general population, you know, with amongst the other guests. Now, this is a con that was so nerdy, the Revenge of the Nerds cast was there. You can't get much more nerdier than that. And my thinking is that Mr. and Mrs. Dog had not done too many cons of that nature prior to this event. They've done the biker thing, more than likely, I'm sure. Tattoo cons, you know, stuff of that nature and that ilk. So they would probably worship like gods and goddesses there. But they've never done like an official nerdy, all-out nerd cast con, which is what we were at in Colorado Springs. So, you know what I'm saying? They even had a smoking area where you had to go upstairs and through the fire door, the back loading dock, outside to smoke. And everybody wasn't always smoking cigarettes, if you know what I mean. This is Colorado we're talking about, right? So, anyway, so get back to the selfie thing. So I don't know if it was her decision or Mr. Dog's decision to have them cornered off in their own little area with black curtains so nobody could just walk by and snap a selfie. So they were separated from the general guest roster off the ripple. You had to go behind the curtain, stand in line and then you had to probably pay and ask for a picture. So I found that a bit excessive, but that wasn't even the half of it. You know, she, Mrs. Dog, rest in peace, Mrs. Dog. She wanted to come through the doors with her taser humming on the arm position. I don't know who she was expecting to tase at this event, but I guess if somebody got too close to Dog, she was going to let them have it. You know what I'm saying? So there was a big brouhaha. Now, keep in mind, I'm telling you this from, it might be a third person perspective, but the person who's telling the story was right there where it happened. The security guys, you know what I'm saying? They're coming up to me telling me what happened. And this is like middle of the afternoon. This is Saturday. The con is a 3-day con, right? And this is like, first night, everything was okay, I guess, for the most part. This is the second afternoon. This is Saturday afternoon. About this time in the afternoon, well, where you at is morning. It's not even noon yet where you are. But where I am, it's like 2:30. So, yeah, so this is around the time, the midday, the busiest day of the con usually is a Saturday. And this is what's going on. So whoever made the decision, Mr. and or Mrs. Dog, they decided they didn't want to go up to the smoking area anymore. So they decided to fire up whatever they was firing up in the building. And the head of security comes by and goes, "Look, Mr. and Mrs. Dog, I'm ex-military, ex-police, and I'm here to tell you." And by the way, the security guys who worked the con, they all look like Stone Cold Steve Austin, all bald-headed and tattooed up and sunglass wearing dudes. They just look and smell like ex-military.
They look like Frylock, but humanoid.
No, they look like Roidlock on steroid. That's what they looked like. These were buff guys, They made the Colorado PD look like Barney Fife from Andy Griffith. I'm telling you, I felt safer with the security guys than I did with the Colorado PD. No offense, Colorado PD, they were great. They were walking around there too. So anyway, when this guy comes up, the head of security comes up and tells Mr. and Mrs. Dog, "Look, y'all gotta go and follow some rules now. Y'all gotta go outside and smoke." Mrs. Dog, I'm not lying. I got this from the guy himself, who this was told to the guy. She looked him dead in the face and said, "Go F yourself." So he calmly looked at her, "Rest in peace, Mrs. Dog," turned around, walked away, said, "Okay." He went and got the Colorado PD. And this is, from what I understand, I don't know how exaggerative this part of the story is, but from what I understand, they lived there. They actually were living in Colorado Springs at the time. So all the locals knew who they were. People at the airport knew Mr. and Mrs. Dog very well. But the fact of the matter is, the RV was sitting out the parking lot. They had the RV sitting out the parking lot, dark about it or whatever. So the head of security, after she tells him to go pleasure himself in a very unsavory manner, goes to get the local PD. And this is what I heard. No lie, I ain't gonna lie. They told me as soon as she saw, like you see somebody from a distance coming down the hallway that you don't want to be involved with, you're gonna take off running. So that's what she did. The guy said, "Could you imagine Mrs. Dog running through the convention with a bunch of nerds as well endowed in the chest area as she was, rest in peace, Mrs. Dog, flopping around from left to right, knocking over Deadpool cosplayers wearing tutus. Get out of my way, nerds. Get out of my way, nerds. I heard that's what she was kind of doing, too, like shoving folks out of the way. Out of the way, dogs are bounty hunter coming through. Get out of the way, peons. Yeah, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself. Then we hear about the cancer thing. It went to Maria, she came back. And when I did this con with him, she had to know that she had it then. Why would you act that way if you know you have a terminally ill disease? I would be hugging everybody. Come here, let me kiss you, love you. Oh, what do you want to do with your life? Don't waste it. I'd be telling people stuff like that instead of, one of the staffers came up to her and asked her if she wanted some water. And she just literally like, get away from me. I'm like, really? Wow. So yeah, I just asked her if she wanted some water. Or if they need it, they come up to you and say, you need anything, so depending on the convention you're at. But yeah, man. So
reality, it's a huge reality because a lot of people see them on TV shows and movies, and they portray a certain way, and then
speaking of which, people think Dog is just like 6'5" muscle bound dude. Dog ain't even 5'8". I don't think. He's not much taller than me, if he's even my height. He's a little dude, actually, man. They just make him look big on TV. Mrs. Dog, on the other hand, she looks that big. She's really that big in real life. Well, she was. But no, I'm just telling you, man. Make a long story longer, the Colorado PD told them to pack their stuff out of here. This is 2 p.m. on a Saturday at a major con, and they got kicked out. Because they wouldn't follow the rules, and they just were.
Was it naughty?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder what. It didn't matter really. The rules are you can't smoke in the building.
Can't smoke at all.
You know what I'm saying? You can't smoke in the building. Like I said, it was a designated smoking area.
They pissed
outside.
somebody off that they got kicked out because, usually promoters will be like, wait, let's work this out. I need them. We pay them. Fans are.
Well, that's how she got in with the taser humming on her hip. Because she threatened to walk if they didn't let her in with the taser. That was the first day. So they let her in with the taser.
She brought a taser in a convention.
Yeah. I told you, it was humming. She didn't want to shut it off. It was humming on her hip. They was like, at least tell her, if I can't have this taser, we ain't come. Rest in peace, Mrs. Dahl. But that day, that weekend, you were a real B.I. Now, every time I see an interview Dog, I go, man, that poor man. Because, while she was ranting and raving and going through all her rigmarole with the security staff, he was right there. He was looking, no matter what, that's a pretty shade of paint they have on this wall back here. Honey, can I have my balls back when you're done with them? But, yeah, that's just... I got some kind stories. One of these days, I'm gonna
keep it going, man. Keep it going. I don't even have to ask you questions. You just keep going. I love it. I just love it. But I want to hear another story.
You do? Okay.
I'm not gonna ask you where were you born, how was your parents growing up, what made you want to become an actor, what's your pet peeve?
No. What's so funny? You know what's so funny? People try to say that they do their research on me, and then they ask me questions based on that research. And I'm going to do another podcast in a few days. And the guy's already going, so I heard that you're a jazz musician? And I wanted to say right back then and there, so quick, who the hell told you that? Where'd you hear that? You know what I'm saying?
Who told you that?
No, what it says in my bio, if you look me up on IMDb, it says that I'm classically trained as an actor as well as a vocalist. That's probably what he's referring to. So he just put all that together and said, oh, yeah, he's a jazz musician. Oh, yeah.
You know what? IMDb is amazing. It's great, but anybody could add on stuff. It's best to find out everything from the person themselves. That's why you can't assume, and you got to say, hey, what's your talents, this and that. Well, a lot of these podcasts, they're very new. They haven't been around. They're lucky to have you on the show, as we are as well. But I love your stories, so keep it going, man. What's another crazy story that you can share? And thank you so much, Carey, for not cursing and not doing any of that stuff. I know you're holding back a lot, so that's lovely of you.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Galaxy, I used to work for Adult Swim, not Kiddie Swim. But I tell you, I thought I was going to get in trouble recently at a con we did in Rochester. It was called RockCon about a year or two ago. And one of the guests, we had all these iconic guests. We had Burt Ward from Batman and Robin. He was there. I got a chance to just say hi to him. I didn't really talk to him. And little Felix. Felix was cousin It on the original Addams Family TV series.
And Felix too? Did they have a booth?
AARP. Why? Because I'm talking about all these old folks? Damn, man. Why you had to go there?
I got a question. I got to tell you something funny.
No. You said tell your story. I'm getting to the story.
You go first.
No. I'll get back to that. I'll get back to RockCon. I remember it. Well, what you got to say? What you got to add on to this?
Right? And he was telling me stories, and then he started referencing shows from the 50s and 60s, and I had to do a whole explanation episode to talk about his references from The Love Boat and Fantasy Island and things like that.
Oh, you had to hip your millennial listeners up to what the hell they were listening to, didn't you? He was like, okay, he's talking about a TV show called I Spy that was back in the day, kiddies, black and white with Robert Pope
the house cat
and
from
Bill Cosby. And believe it or not, there's some people out there that have never seen or heard of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so there you go. I wish I had a dime for every time somebody came and said, I grew up on your show, man. I grew up watching your show ever since I was 6. And I'm like, how old are you now? I'm 65. Don't you? But yeah, I get that a lot, man. But what tickles me is I was at New York Comic Con one year. Ooh, that was a fun one. I'd like to somehow get back to that one because I had a ball in New York. I had never been to New York proper. I'd been to small podunk towns around New York before. I'm not going to say any names, so I said podunk, so I won't get into trouble for saying that Elmira is a podunk town, but it kind of is. But anyway, so I'm in New York Comic Con a couple of years back, and this kid comes up to the table. Oh, by the way, I was sharing the table. It was three of us at one table on the merch floor, the merchandise floor. You know what I mean? Not the guest proper floor, but
of course,
the other floor where the actors who can't afford to be a guest hang out at. The unofficial guest floor.
Convention part.
Yeah, well, where the merchants are, where you can buy T-shirts.
I love you guys. He's saying all of it. I'm not.
That's what floor I was. No, I was just serious. I wasn't an official guest, and I kind of heard if you're not an A-lister, you won't get treated too well as a guest at New York Comic Con. That's okay, Carey. You got this table from 8 a.m. to noon, and then you got to make way for Kevin Hart. He gets it after that for the rest of the day. Something like that. That's why I heard they do to an official guest. You only get the table for a few hours, and then you got to move and leave and let somebody else have it. I'm like, I want to be an official guest then. So anyway, I'm on the vendor's floor. That's what it was. I was a vendor. Anyway, but my vending just happened to be signatures and pictures. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So I'm sharing the table with another voice actor named Quentin Flynn. If you haven't heard of him, you heard him do some things because he's been around the business for quite a while and he's a pretty popular guy. So anyway, me and him are sitting next to each other and we're renting table space from one of the actors who was in the original Willy Wonka movie with Gene Wilder. He played Mike TV, the kid with the cowboy hat who shot the little pistols, pop, pop, bang, 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 in Willy Wonka's factory. So he looks more like Michael Chiklis now than he does Mike TV. But, you know Michael Chiklis is, right? He played the Thing in Fantastic Four first and second movies, and the commish kind of looks like that guy now. But anyway, so Quentin Flynn and I had to pay that man rent. We had to pay him rent. Paris is his name. I can't remember his last name right now, but his actual name is Paris. But he's a nice enough guy to let us rent table space, which we had to pay $900 a piece for the weekend. And I was sweating that, man. I was like, geez, here I am at New York Comic Con. I've never done this con before. I don't know what to expect. It's a 4-day con, true enough. Yeah, but I got to come up with $900 to pay this guy. Yeah, so I'm like, damn, I hope I can make this money. Comes to find out I made $835 of it Thursday. So I was like, phew, what a relief. Then from then on, I could have some fun. You know what I'm saying? I was sweating. I was like, man, am I gonna make this?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first day, man. I was like, ooh, I love New York. Oh, it was great. I had a boy. So the reason the story I'm getting to is about people come up to my table. This 10-year-old kid. He's dressed as Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. He's got the wig on, a lab coat, the unibrow, the whole thing, and he does the old Macaulay Culkin, puts both hands to his cheeks. He goes, Ma, in his New York accent. Ma, look who it is. Ma, it's Frylock. Oh my God. Ma, come here. And I was like, damn, boy, how old are you? He was like, I'm 10. And I was like, where your mother at? She got the money. Where's she at? You know what I'm saying? So she's right here. And I'm like, naughty mommy. Let that boy literally weaned on Aqua Teen. Because he was fanboying to death. And he was a little boy. And I'm like, boy, 10 years old. And his mom had him on a budget, you know what I'm saying? Because all he had left was like X amount of dollars, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't want to spend it right here. She was like, well, hey, look who he's sitting next to. That's the actor from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate. I don't care about him. I don't care about his Frylock. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Don't be talking to my landlord like that now. I got to pay him rent, boy. Show some respect. So anyway, make a long story longer, he spent his last $25-$30 on old Frylock, and I took a picture with him and everything. He was so sweet. And his mother was right there. I'm like 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds because, yeah, I know that show. I'm like, wow, it's a trip.
They watch,
but
there's MTV 2 and 3, and they got all these shows.
We did do a toned down, watered down version of Aqua Teen. It was called Welcome to the Wayne, and it was for Nickelodeon. If you research it, you'll find that myself, Dana Snyder, and Dave Willis all lend our voices to that show, as short-lived as it was on Nick. Matter of fact, I just got a residual check in the mail from it. I don't get residuals from Aqua Teen. So just so y'all know out there in Frylock fandom, if y'all think I'm swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck, that's not the case. Because I live in the right-to-work state of Georgia. What that means is I signed a contract about 20 years ago, salivating at the mouth that I was going to be doing a cartoon.
Gotcha.
If you think about it, somebody dangles a stake in your face. It's like the old music industry thing. Look at Prince. Prince signed with Warner Brothers when he was 17, and I'm sure he didn't read all that shit. I'm sure it was a huge contract, about as thick as an encyclopedia. And they was like, "Don't worry about reading it, kid. You're great. You play all your instruments. Cool. Sign right here." So when he wanted to break off with Warner Brothers and do his own thing, guess what? They told him, "You can't use the name or likeness of Prince." So what you talking about? That's me. He said, "Oh, we own that. You got to come up with something else." He's like, "All right, I will," and he did. He changed the name to a symbol, and that's when he started performing live with the word "slave" painted on his face, and finally went to court and got his name and everything back. So, when you sign these contracts, I'm telling you, it's best to have an entertainment lawyer present. Now, I'm not thinking along those lines. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know the show was going to last a decade and a half.
Oh yeah.
There's a way to get around and the way they got around syndication, as far as not paying royalties, is because there was no commercials. Think about it. If Aqua Teen had commercial sponsorship, then I probably would have been getting residuals. I'm not saying that nobody got residuals. I don't know the business of the other cast members. I don't know what their deals were. I know Dana got into SAG while we were doing the show, so maybe he gets some. I don't know. That's his business. But, I don't have no bitter ill will towards anybody.
Or no commercials. That network has a ton of money, So.
Yeah, and so when they told me we were being canceled, I looked them dead in the face. These are the co-creators of the show. I'm like, oh, I know what we can do. We can do what Family Guy did, or Futurama, go to another network. And then they want us back. They looked me dead in my face and said, we don't own it. And I wanted to do the Mo Howard, like slapping Curly and Larry, just spat. I'm like, what do you mean you don't own it? Oh my God, all this time. And you don't own your own stuff. But see, that's a weird way this business works, man. You got to be careful. Like, you might have the greatest idea for a movie or even a superhero franchise, but you let the wrong person get wind of that thing. Before you know it, you'll be watching your shit on TV. And you're like, hey, wait a minute. That's what happened to Bruce Lee with Kung Fu TV series. That was his baby. That was his idea. That's what he was going to move to right after they canceled the Green Hornet. So we just move right into Kung Fu. We do that.
And they brought Carey Means instead. That was
because
show.
they did not want a Chinese American actor to play a Chinese American character. You believe that? That was the whole logic of the studio. I'm like,
crazy time.
Excuse me?
Crazy.
But and they had to teach Carey, took Tai Chi and ballet to get the moves down. You could tell what he's doing is Tai Chi and ballet. It's not Kung Fu. It's a little judo, a little Tai Chi, a little ballet. I mean, just thinking about it this day, I can imagine how powerful that show would have been had Bruce starred in it. It would have been amazing. It would have been freaking amazing. But, that's how it went. He had an idea, they took it, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. You know what I'm saying? So
you should do. I know you have a YouTube channel that's doing good. You should have your own radio show. And you should
Yes,
have
I should.
top 10 listicle type of thing in our magazine, Comic-Con magazine. We got to get you on that. I'm going to have the team reach out to you. You have to do something because you are outstanding. You've got so much energy. I think your mind is great. Well, I know it's great.
My mind is going inside my mind, Galaxy.
All day and just listen to you, but I know we are on a time.
We're out of time, aren't we? Wow, that was fast. Where does the time go?
Look at this.
Literally.
Look at this. Where did the time
Literally.
go?
We just cut an hour off of our life expectancy.
That story with the AARP people. Can you finish that story?
You said AARP. I didn't say nothing about no AARP. I was saying, well, they probably were in AARP. Butch Patrick, from the Monsters. I don't know if he. No. So and Nana Visitor was there from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, who I had a crush on while I was enjoying that show. I've always had a crush on Nana Visitor. She was Major Kira in that show, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I don't know if you remember that. So She was there, a couple of tables down from me, right? And I got a buddy. I hope he's still doing okay. Hey, John Ashton. He cosplays as the 1966 Batman. So he had his back cuffs with him. He's like, look, Carey, I got a new back cuffs. And he puts them on me, and I was standing right in front of the Nana visitor's table, and I'm like, maybe I could use these on Nana later. And not without thinking about what I just said, I said it loud enough for her to hear it. But, you know, it was kind of like an Austin Powers thing. Did I just say that out loud? You know what I'm saying? Did I just say that in front of Nana? I'm like, oh, shit. I don't know how she's going to take it. I look back, she's doubled over in laughter, turning red. So I was like, I was close one. You know what I'm saying? You know, you tell these jokes, and you don't know how they're going to be received, especially with people of certain status and stardom in life. You know, she could have easily gotten offended at that. Like, security, can you get this man from front of my table and keep away from me for the rest of the weekend? Because I'm very uncomfortable with them talking about using back cuffs on me. But she laughed. So I was like, whoo, that was a close one. Then again, in retrospect, I should have really maybe pursued it. No, no. I'm a happily married spud. I'm a married spud. I wasn't married at the time, though. But anyway, that's then. This is now. So yeah.
You've been a good guy.
But Felix was a trip. Cousin It came up to my table, and he was very unhappy with the goings on at the con. Started talking to me like we've been knowing each other for years. And this guy is like, he may be 4 feet tall, maybe. You know, he's cousin It from the Addams Family. He was Twiggy on Buck Rogers in the 25th century. He wasn't the voice of Twiggy. That was my hero, Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc was I could go on and on about him, man. You know, he knocked on Warner Brothers' doors for about 3 years before he even got inside. He kept going back, asking if they needed a voice talent. They kept slamming the door in his face. Finally, the guy who slammed the door in his face finally died. And the guy that took his place was like, come on in, kid, that's what you got. Next thing you know, he started doing Porky Pig and then Bugs Bunny, and the rest, as they say, is history. He's a man of 1,000 voices. Oh, yeah. Once I found out a guy could do all those voices, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's something I could aspire to do. Because, you know, I grew up with those cartoons, man. I was weaned on Bugs Bunny. And, you know, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, and all the Tex Avery cartoons and all that stuff. Three Stooges, Jerry Lewis movies, you know what I'm saying? All
Absolutely. That. So your range is pretty extensive, huh? You could do Looney Tunes, you could do all sorts of characters.
Man, look, whatever it calls for, I can do it. Absolutely.
I can do it.
I tell you, this one little last tidbit. I auditioned, at least I thought it was an audition, for every character on Squidbillies. At least 3 or 4 times they had me read for each and every character on Squidbillies. I'm talking about from early to the grandmother, to the son, to the sheriff, to the preachers. Every character on there at least 3 or 4 times. This is one session. I was like, wow, I got to get one of these at least. They had to read for every one. That was crazy. Nothing. I was like, oh, I found out later on what it really was. They wanted to use me as a scratch to play for the actual cast, how they should sound. Don't tell nobody I told you that. Yes, I'm sitting there looking at this residual check that came from Burbank, California. Cast and Crew Talent and Services. $0.13. That's my residual check from Welcome to the Wayne that I got recently.
More money than that, huh? You're like,
and my wife's like, here you go, deposit this. And I was like, what will we do with that? I know, we could buy some bubble gum down at the corner. No, wait, that's 25 cents. We can't buy any good bubble gum. I'll put it in the bank and let it draw interest. Maybe in about 1,000 years, like Philip J. Fry. My bank account will be worth billions of dollars when they freeze me or something like that.
You know what, Carey?
Anyway, Galaxy.
I hope
it's been a pleasure.
You get booked for every major show out there. I hope everyone follows you. Fans want to get a hold of you. What's your social media page?
You can reach me. Just type in my name. Just type in Carey Means, man, and a bunch of stuff will pop up. But it's just at Carey Means on Instagram. And it's Carey Means. Carey Means. It's me.
That's it.
I mean, a bunch of weird pictures will pop up. Like you'll see some Jim Carrey stuff. You'll see some Mariah Carey. You see some guy that don't look nothing like me. That's supposed to be Carey Means. As far as I know, I'm the only Carey Means out there that spells his name like that. If there's another one, then just look up Carey S. Means, since that's my middle name. S stands for super actor and voice talent, and I am for hire. I do have my own home studio set up, so all of you folks out there with the money who are looking for somebody with a voice like mine to do some stuff for you, hit me up.
Well, you know what? As you heard on Instagram at Carey Means, or you go on his YouTube page, hit him up for some voice stuff, see what you want to do.
Also, let me throw this quick plug in there. I also, through Messenger on Facebook, you can reach me. I have a page, Carey Means, the Voice of Frylock page on Facebook, where you can order autographed prints signed, sealed, and delivered by yours truly. I also do original commission pieces. There's a video that's up now about a recent piece I did. This guy wanted a tribute to Carol Spinney. So I had Carl trying to move into Oscar the Grouch's trash can on Sesame Street. So that's got Oscar the Grouch, Carl, and the Aqua Teens, and Big Bird, and it's just a tribute to Carol Spinney. But whatever you want, I can do it for you for a fee, of course.
Of course.
You know, so I do original artwork, and I, do autographed pictures from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Just check me out. You'll see something you like.
That's it.
They make great gifts.
Yeah. Everybody's
also, seriously though, if anybody knows of any cons out that way, just drop my name and hook me up. We'll set something up, and you can meet me in person. That's right.
Absolutely. Well, you're outstanding on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You are a amazing gentleman, a great character voice artist, and all of the above. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Galaxy with Carey Means, and we're signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Carey, we got to blow kisses to the universe. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, a billion kisses.
Peace, love, and fire grease, y'all.
There you go.
I'm out.
Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media. Instagram at Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.
Word. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Carey.
All right. Nice talking to you, man.